I had a 34-year-old woman come to the clinic. She came with a big thyroid goiter. So we already knew that it was hypothyroidism. But my whole thing is when y'all come to my clinic, my whole job is to find the root cause. I already knew that she lacked copper and zinc. Anytime that you have a low functioning thyroid and you build up that goiter, because that parathyroid is now starting to produce too much calcitonin, which is pulling calcium from the bone phosphorus calcium matrix. That calcium sit around that parathyroid and it becomes hard as stone, and it just build up with that fluid in all of those tissues, and then you develop a goiter. Well, usually it's things like lack of sunlight, hormone disruptors that you wearing, your clothes, perfumes, because even a perfume can be an endocrine disruptor. It's a bunch of different environmental pollutants and environmental factors that can drive a thyroid to be low functioning. It was all there with Ashley. She was overweight, 34, couldn't drop the weight, hard goiter on the right lobe of her thyroid, parathyroid producing too much calcitonin. Her calcium level was skyrocket out the roof high, and could nobody figure it out. She had went to all the doctors. She went to the whole entire allopathic community. They just wanted to put her on levothyroxine and put her on thyroid hormones for the rest of her life, but she said she wanted to save herself and her thyroid. They also offered her to give her thyroid surgery and take the thyroid out. Thank God Ashley was smart. Told Rabba Yahwa, she was smart enough to say no. So she come see me at the clinic. Couldn't nobody find the root cause. So she came to Dr. Yahki, and I said, look, let's do a process of elimination. So I said, you got to get rid of these silent chemicals, because these chemicals are killing you. It's not only the environmental pollutants, but when you go back home and you get away from all these environmental pollutants, you coming into a house that you done created a chemical prison out of, and you in this house more than you outside the house. So she cleaning with all of these bleaches. She cleaning with all of these Cloroxes. She cleaning with all of these different things that is weakening her, what I'm going to call the great lymphatic defense system. Not only that, she's putting on all these perfumes, and then she had this moisturizing lotion that had like this blossom smell to it that was completely synthetic and artificial. It wasn't even real blossom. So I said, look, Ashley, you got to change everything in your household. Stop taking all these lotions and stuff and put on just regular olive oil, or get you some coconut oil. She switched over to coconut oil, and the coconut oil, she quit putting on all of the smell goods. And I said, look, I'll give you some of my personal frankincense and myrrh straight from Africa. So she started wearing these healing frequency oils that had a high vibrational frequency to them. Then we took away her toothpaste. She got on my tooth and gum powder, and she took away all the fluorinated and chlorinated toothpaste that she was brushing her mouth with, even down to her floss. She had fluorinated and chlorinated floss with a synthetic mint coating on it. Look, you got to throw all of it away. We finna go through your whole entire house. We're going to go through everything one by one that you taking, and we're going to go through something called a process of elimination to see what's going on with your thyroids. Every 3 months, we're going to get your T4, your T3. We're going to do basically a full metabolic thyroid panel on you. Your free T4, your free T3, your TSH, which is your thyroid stimulating hormone. Every 90 days, we're going to check your thyroid and see if your levels start to regulate themselves as we go through this process of elimination. Family, mishpacha. When I tell y'all we went through everything, we took away everything, and she stuck to it. She gave me daily reports. She sent me daily emails. She hit me up through the text messenger app that we got, and she took away everything. On the 90th day, her numbers changed, but they only changed by 3 decimals, by 3 points. And I said, this can't be, because I'm used to bringing people back, and we used to goiter shrinking within 3 months. I said, well, maybe it's your clothes. Her clothes had all of these azo dyes on them. We know that these azo dyes are full of these textiles. We know that these textiles and these colors are full of lead, and we know lead will drop the thyroid down. Lead, mercury, and cadmium. So I'm like, look, let's get rid of the clothes, and let's see if we can do some clothing with some natural dyes. She said, well, I don't got enough money. So I said, look, you such a crazy case to me, because I'm used to facilitating and healing the thyroid so quick. I will buy you 3 pair of clothes. If you can wear these for these next 90 days, wash them, do whatever you need to do with them. Let's see if the thyroid changed. So we got rid of all of her clothes. She stuck with the clothes that I got her. And then we went to her bra and her panties, because you have to change those, because of course, them were sitting right in your reproductive organs. She changed her panties. She changed her bra into all natural fabrics. 90 days come. We get her check again. This time her number changed another 3 desmos. So now we're about 5 to 6 desmos up where it's normalizing. So I'm like, what is slowing up this process? Why are you not healing fast? She started not believing in the methodology, and I'm like, look, my stuff is working. You see your numbers are improving every time we get a full comprehensive thyroid panel on you. So we see that it's improving. I just don't know why it's improving so slow. She done cleaned her whole house, her hygiene products. She done got rid of all of her cleaning products, turned them all natural. Everything to do with her mouth, she turned it all natural. She changed her clothes, her panties, her bra. What am I missing? I said, I never told her to check her pillowcase. I'm not even thinking about the actual pillow at this time. I'm just thinking about the pillowcase. I said, I never told her about her pillowcase. So I called her. I said, Ashley, I got one more thing that I didn't tell you to change. Let's wash your pillowcase. Let's wash your bedding. So we started washing her pillowcase, washing her bedding. Once she washed her pillowcase and washed her bedding, we didn't wait 90 days. We went and checked a month afterwards. Tell me why her thyroid was almost regulated. She started breaking out in like these fungals, and she had ringworms. So I'm like, okay, if she getting rid of everything, why does she have ringworms? She was breaking out on her elbows. She had one on her back, and she had one on her buttocks. Then she had like these fungi, like yeast clusters coming from her skin. I said, we need to get you checked for mold. So we could get her checked for mold, and we find asparagus. Asparagus is an actual mold fungi parasite that roam throughout the bloodstream and throughout the skin and the system, and it literally attacks the respiratory system. And a lot of children are getting these respiratory diseases and getting asthma and getting COPD, and they don't even realize that it's asparagus. Now it makes me think, is all asthma, all respiratory obstructions connected to the pillow, connected to the bed? And you think about this, y'all. You spend at least 6 hours a day in your bedroom. If people get proper sleep, they spend at least 8 to 9 hours in their bedroom. If you lazy and you just slunch around all day, you in your bed for at least 10 hours. So you spend more than half of your life sleep, and most of us are sleeping on the bed with a pillow. This is the major factor that I've been missing the whole time. So she checked positive for asparagus. All right, then we actually do a heavy metal check on her. Guess what's high in her? Lead. So now we got to do a heavy metal detox on her, right? And we still cleansing the thyroid at this time. Now I got to address this fungal and this mold spore issue. And I'm like, where is asparagus at? Because she's washing her bedding now. She's washing her pillowcases now. So look, I said, maybe it's the damn pillow inside the pillowcase. So me, I'm a smart person. I like to send stuff off. So I hollered at the laboratory in Illinois. We took bits and pieces of the pillow. I cut off the actual pillow top, and I took some of the fillings. Hers was a synthetic feather-filled pillow. I took some of those, put them in a Ziploc bag, shipped them off, got them tested. Guess what that came back for? Trillions of dust mites in her pillow. Lead, mercury, cadmium in her pillow.
In a way, a dust mite lives off of you because it feeds mainly on your skin flakes. The scientific name of dust mites is dermatophagoides, which means skin eaters. Quite fitting, if you ask me. In return for your feeding, the mite will poop in your bed. It does this about 20 times a day. So with an average lifespan of 1 to 3 months, it leaves 200 times its own body weight in excrement in your bed. Sounds great, doesn't it? But all that poop isn't just gross. It can also become a problem for some people. The components of dust mite poop can cause allergies, and besides pollen, dust mite droppings are the second most common cause of allergies. It is estimated that 1 in 20 Americans have problems with it.
PFAS in her pillow. And these PFAS are forever chemicals. It's called pre-fluorinated chemicals. They actually use them as an additive or preservatives, and they spray them on the pillow to keep the pillow alive as long as possible.
PFAS.
PFAS are one of the most threatening chemicals ever invented.
Now that we're finally becoming aware that these chemicals exist, that we've been exposed without our knowledge for decades and decades.
PFAS pose a serious risk to health and the environment, and worst of all, they never degrade. For this reason, they're also called forever chemicals.
So this took me down a rabbit hole. I said, let me just study the pillow and the bedding. Did y'all know 10% of all pillows' total body weight is full of the exoskeleton of microbes? Yes, they're called dust mites. They only eat dead skin. But remember, every night you go through something called autophagy, will your skin renew itself. If you don't get it off in the shower or in the tub, you know how you get in the tub and you get that dirt ring around the tub, Nabi? That's not dirt. That's actually dead skin and dead microbes. But if you're not giving yourself a good scrub, when you go to sleep at night and you go through your cold and hot cycle and you perspire and you sweat and you breathing and you literally getting rid of all those toxins through something called a stage of autophagy, you start shedding. When you shed these dead skin cells on your cover, this goes down into the little pores of the pillow and go into the pillow, and it gets inside of the synthetic feathers inside the pillow. So over a course of months and even years, and this is the reason why every pillow come with its own expiration date for this very reason, y'all. So these dust mites are literally shedding themselves. And then when they shed themselves, all of the toxins in the poop and the feces, you laying your head on these pillows and you breathing them in. And then half of these people, you get your pillow wet, you spill something on your pillow, or just condensation from you having your ductwork done wrong. You get mold spores in your pillow. I got pictures of it. So she had mold in her pillow, didn't know it. She had trillions of dead dust mites in her skeletons and all of their fumes and feces in her pillow, didn't know it. She had cadmium, she had mercury, and she had lead in her pillow and in her textiles in her sheets, and didn't even know it. And let's not talk about the pre-fluorinated spray, these adjectives that they had on it, and she didn't know it. And the pillow was off gassing itself. It had something called VOCs, which is volatile organic compounds. Guess where these volatile organic compounds come from? You got your head on the pillow, all of these dust mites in your hair all day. You having this feedback loop. You breathing this stuff in your internal environment, and then you start getting all of these so-called diseases. Her pillow and her bedding was actually causing disorder in her thyroid. Not only that, she had real bad allergies and didn't nobody know why. Because she was getting these allergic reactions to the actual shedding of these mites when they shed the exoskeleton system, and then the feedback loop of all the feces and the urine that these mites was giving off. So we ended up testing and a lot of stuff came back. They say when you check an average pillow, when you check an actual average pillow, you're going to see 17 different types of mold. It didn't say a pillow that you had for 3 years on your average pillow that you just got. Because even though it's in the plastic, it still got to be made in the manufacturing company. It sits on the shelf in the manufacturing company for months before it even get to you. You getting these pillows and they already contaminated. Then you sleep on these pillows and now you're contaminating the pillows and you don't know how to wash the pillows. And that's the reason when you go back in the ancient days, we didn't have these type of pillows. We made sure that we use high vibrational fabrics. We made sure that we washed and we hung dry our pillowcases. We washed and we hung dry our bedding. We let the sun hit it because we know that those ultraviolet rays is actually antimicrobial. Like now you start really studying ancient Egyptians or ancient Kemet, and you start studying ancient Mesopotamia, and you start looking up their everyday life and how they live, and you start going back. You don't even have to go back that long. You go back to my grandma. She washed her clothes and then she hung them outside, and she let the natural UV rays hit those clothes and dry them out. She probably didn't know why she was doing them, but now we have the science and the technology to figure out the science behind them because it's antimicrobial. That actual wind and that sun keeps mold spores from coming and forming on the pillows, on the pillowcase, and on the bed. So you literally are getting infected and getting all of these ringworms and getting all of these fungal infections and getting aspergillus parasite, fungal parasite. You getting all of these negative feedback loops. You having all of these allergens raising your histone markers up and driving them through the roof. You getting low thyroid function and thyroid goiters all because you're bedding what you sleep in every single day. We got rid of the metals. We put her on the geogenetic level 2. We changed her bedding. We changed her clothing. We got her 100% linen bedding. She complained for the first 2 weeks about how hard it was. I said, once you wash it a few times and once you sleep on it enough, it's going to be soft like clouds in the heavens. But the whole thing that was driving her thyroid was her pillow and her bedding. Now you go and you look at her numbers. Her number is normal. Start washing your pillows. If you don't want to wash your pillows, every 2 weeks you need to buy new ones and throw the old ones away. Not only that, make sure that you don't have synthetic filling inside of your pillows. Make sure that the cover case around your pillow is linen, and make sure that you are washing your pillowcases. Bad acne, skin disease, all of these things that's going on, half of the time it's because where you spend most of your time at is attacking you. And where humans spend most of their time at is in their bed.